What's up everybody, welcome back to a brand new video on Lexalexus. Today we've got some championship score predictions, match day 42. Now we have only got 42, 43, 44, 45 and 46. Most championship teams have got 5 championship games. For relegation teams, they've got 5 games to save themselves from the drop. For teams fighting for the top 6, they've got 5 games to potentially carry on their momentum and to potentially go all the way within the playoff campaign. We've got all of these implications still into play, and we can see some major developments take place after this game week. With this game week followed by a midweek game week straight after that, we're definitely going to see a very clear picture of what sort of climax we're going to get in the championship with the final 3 games left. We are honestly less than a month away to the end of the season. That is absolutely incredible for me to say. I'm switching over to this scene here because on the left hand side of the screen, as you can see, are the prediction leagues. So for the championship, this is how it's looking at the moment. We've got a very competitive top 4 race going round. I mean, I will probably call it top 3 more realistically. I'm just kind of stuck in 4th and just trying to compete. But that is what we've got in terms of the championship. For the Premier League, it is definitely Ethan who is leading the way at the moment. It's going to be very difficult for most of us to catch him. But we've got a long way to go for the Premier League season. You know, the championship is nearly concluded. For the Premier League, it seems that we still got quite a fair big chapter to go for the Premier League season. And speaking of the Premier League, on the left hand side of the screen, as you can see, are my Premier League predictions for this weekend as well. You guys can be involved in the Championship and the Premier League prediction leagues like you just saw just now, all by predicting your score predictions in the comments down below. It is that simple. If you guys like what you see, please smash that like button. It really does help the growth of this channel when you do that. Please do hit the subscribe button as well. As you know, I'm kind of stepping back from YouTube after this season to focus on my studies of being an accountant. But what a brilliant conclusion in terms of video making. If we can get to 2,000 subscribers, we've actually been doing quite well with the channel quite recently, and it's all thanks to you guys. You guys really do encourage me to still keep going, and it's a real bittersweet moment for me. But I'm going to say it again, I'm not gone forever. I will be streaming the odd football game that's on, because if I couldn't watch football again, then I don't know what I can do with my life. So I'm very much not going to be going away forever. And please, if you can, share the channel as well, because that is practically the way that we're all going to grow around here. Lots of things have already happened. I'm going to talk about Reading and their situation with them sacking Paul Ince. We have got a lot to digest with our predictions, but without any further ado, let's start going through my predictions for match day. With Middlesbrough going up against Norwich. Middlesbrough going through a really poor run at the moment. They are winless in the last 3, 2 defeats in a row, and it followed with them drawing with Bristol City by 2 goals each. One positive for Bristol City is that they just held a really commanding 2-0 lead and looked quite comfortable. But for Middlesbrough especially, for the fact they were 2-0 down and got the comeback, it was very well played with them. Middlesbrough have been renowned of picking up a lot of points from losing positions, and that came to play in that game. But unfortunately, they couldn't really do enough to get that 3rd goal that was going to give them all 3 points, which they really needed, because right now Middlesbrough are in danger of losing 3rd place right now, let alone promotion. You know, for form that they were at some stage, it looked like Middlesbrough could be right up there chasing Sheffield United, but now it's looking more likely Luton could potentially give Sheffield United a run for their money if they carry on. Norwich picked up a crucial win against Blackburn Rovers, a top 6 pointer in that game, a really comfortable 2-0 victory. But having said that, for a prediction, I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. Reason being, I think, the Riverside in itself is already really tricky. I saw them play against Burnley quite recently, and Burnley did find it quite difficult at times really to extract anything out of it. Norwich, I think, will have their good spells, but they still are quite slack at the back. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. Let me know what you think of that in the comments down below. The next game today is Sheffield United versus Cardiff. So I was just speaking about Sheffield United, but they've got an early game this time. So Middlesbrough and Norwich are going to be the game taking place tomorrow. And for Sheffield United and Cardiff, this is going to be the early game on the Saturday. Interesting scenario this. So Sheffield United could really start dreaming about promotion very, very quickly, actually, if they can pick up all 3 points, which is most definitely possible for them right now. And with the position that they're in, if they get to 79 points at the moment and could find themselves in a position being 11 points clear of Middlesbrough with a game in hand and 8 points clear of Luton with a game in hand as well. And honestly, at that point, with only 4 games left, Sheffield United will be looking at potentially one more win would be enough to limp themselves over the line and join Burnley's parties of getting promoted back into the Premier League for the second time of asking. Cardiff have got entirely different priorities in themselves, which is surviving the Championship, of course. They've been given a little bit of a boost quite recently for the fact that a lot of the teams around them are also not winning as well. Reading being a good example. QPR, despite picking up a good result, they're winners as well. And that win against Blackpool they picked up last weekend, I think was really, really helpful despite losing narrowly against Sunderland in a really weird game that was, to be honest. A prediction here, I think it's going to be Sheffield United more confident with their form. I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory. I don't think it's going to be straightforward for Sheffield United, but I see them having enough to edge Cardiff. So I'm going to go 2-1 Sheffield United. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game today is Blackpool versus Wigan. So it's the bottom 2 teams going up against each other, which is really, really intriguing to tell you the truth. And I'll tell you what, if Wigan pick up 0 points in this game, then I think within 1 game week later, they could find themselves mathematically relegated, which is really, really scary for Wigan right now. Blackpool also really need to win right now because both of them are only separated by 1 point, and there is a huge mountain to climb for both of these teams. It's going to be a real mission impossible task. With Blackpool, they're going to have an interim manager at the end of the season, of course. Wigan sticking with Sean Maloney as it seems, and there have been some positive things that I saw since he's come in, but I think even with that, it's just really not been enough. And Wigan have unfortunately just fallen short of their quality and their chance creating, unfortunately. With this game, I can definitely see Blackpool getting a bit of a bounce, to be honest, with the change of manager. So as a prediction, I'm going to go for a narrow 2-1 victory. Not too convinced with either one of these teams. Either one of them could win by that scoreline, but I'll edge Blackpool for the managerial bounce. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game today is a huge game regarding the top 6. Millwall versus Preston. Millwall, a team in the top 6, but they're really struggling with their form right now. They've not scored, I believe, in their last 3 games, which is really not good for this Millwall side, considering at this moment of time, they're winless in their last 4, and Preston have won 3 games in a row. So right now, if you see an informed Preston team scoring goals for fun, and you've got a Millwall side not scoring any goals, a typical championship result would be Millwall to smash Preston and then always forgotten about either one of their form in the past 3 or 4 weeks or so. But based on what I've seen, because I actually am liking what Preston are doing now, I might edge the Lily Whites to get a sneaky 1-0 away win. I just got a very funny feeling about Preston in this final stretch of games. I think this is their toughest game that Preston have left in terms of what's at stake. But if they pick up a win here, it provides a huge boost for them to not only be in the top 6, but to beat a playoff rival who they'll have to likely play up against in the playoffs if all teams are confirmed, of course, by the end of the season, which could all change too. I'll go 1-0 Preston, but very, very close. I don't think there'll be many goals. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game today is QPR versus Coventry. So, from a game Millwall Preston, which I don't think there'll be many goals, but this game, I expect to see goals. And both of them were involved in a 2-2 draw last weekend. West Brom managed to get a comeback from 2-0 down to equalise 2-2. And so, of course, did Coventry as well. 2-0, they fell at home, really, against Watford, a team low in confidence in general. But they fought back, and you could argue Coventry were quite unlucky not to pick up all 3 points with the chances that they created from that. QPR, on the other hand, it was a bit of fortune that got them that equaliser with a mistake from West Brom's goalkeeper there. But regardless, it was a crucial point, actually, and it does edge them just that 1 point extra from Reading. And who knows how important 1 point can be for a team's survival. So going into this game with QPR and Coventry, I think both teams will be open. I think both teams will want to exploit each other. Coventry, with a great performance last weekend, but obviously been very guilty with their defence as well. Same with QPR, bit open. I think we'll see goals. But as a prediction, I'm going to edge the away side for a 3-2 victory. I think we'll see 5 goals in this game. I think it's going to be all bells and whistles. QPR would want 3 points for survival. Coventry want 3 points to gain top 6, so both teams with something to play for. I think we'll see goals. Let me know what you think about in the comments down below. Next game to predict is Burnley versus Reading. So, Reading, of course, are parted company with Paul Ince, with a club in danger right now because they are in the bottom 3. They narrowly lost to Preston. They lost to a last-minute winner by Brad Potts. It was devastating for Reading because it would have been seen as a pretty crucial point. And it does seem a little bit unfair how they got into this position. Obviously, that 6-point deduction has been a large contribution to it, but obviously they received that deduction now, which meant now they are in a lot of pressure. Now, the good thing with Reading is that they are within touching distance of QPR. They're also within touching distance of Cardiff, Huddersfield, and I would even throw Rotherham in that as well. So, Reading are not out of it, compared to what we're seeing with Wigan and Blackpool, who are starting to form a big gap now. Reading got every chance, but they really got to make their last couple of games count. And I think against top of the league Burnley is not the ideal scenario. Could we see a managerial bounce like I'm predicting for a Blackpool win? For me, I don't think so. I think Burnley have just been so ruthless this year, and I think Company has got his eyes on the record. They played very well against Sheffield United, despite being an extra man in the field for most of the game. I think Burnley still would have found a way to get goals out of it, even though if it was 11 versus 11. As a prediction here, I'm going to go for a 2-1. I just don't think Burnley are going to blow teams away as consistently as they are, going to put their foot off the gas in an attacking point of view. But they'll find a way to find 3 points. Reading, I think, will make it interesting, but I'm going to make it 2-1 Burnley. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game to predict is Rotherham-Luton. So, Rotherham, for me, have got one of the toughest run-ins now to the end of the season. But Rotherham giving themselves a really good cushion, to be fair, from them and the bottom 3. A 4-point cushion, to be exact. And the fact that they've given themselves that much of a gap, I am very, very impressed because Rotherham, we see from them really typically that they are a team, within the bottom 3 at this stage and almost relegated at this point. So it does give Rotherham a lot of credit, and I feel like I don't praise Rotherham enough, so I'm definitely giving them a lot of credit here. They managed to get a draw, of course, last weekend as well against Norwich and frustrated the living daylights out of them, of course. Then we go to Luton Town, where they were frustrated against Blackpool, at least in the first half, but then their quality started to enter into the play, and that is the difference maker. They've just got these individuals now that they can rely upon and can flick the game within one moment of quality, and I'm so impressed Luton have got that about them now. It was this extra star factor that was missing for Luton, and they really seem to have that now. Third place in the table. They're going to have to really rely on Sheffield United not winning many of their last 6 games that they've got to play. So I think it's going to be very tricky for Luton to catch Sheffield United, in my honest opinion. But I think I'm more likely going to say Luton will catch Sheffield United than I do with Middlesbrough. I genuinely believe that. And for this game, I think it'll be a Luton win still. But once again, I think these teams will be very, very close. Rotherham will feel a win here and they'll survive, because I think 48 points and for Reading to pick up 7 points is going to be quite a big feat for them. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory to Luton, but Rotherham should be discouraged. I think one more win for Rotherham and they're most 100% guaranteed to save for me. So I'll go for 2-1 Luton. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game to predict is Stoke West Brom. I won't lie, I am a little bit nervy about how this game is going to go. Stoke recently had lost out against Bristol City 2 weekends ago. They were involved in a 0-0 draw to Birmingham. Not really much going on with that game there. And then we saw West Brom, of course, they had that brilliant 2-0 lead, of course, against QPR. And then they threw it away to the manner that they did. I don't know. It feels like two teams that are underperforming now, and it feels strange because I was praising Stoke for how good they looked, and now all of a sudden they're now back to their normal selves. And West Brom under Corberan, some individuals need to step up because that squad is definitely good enough for a top six, but they're not producing enough with the talent on that pitch, and they really could use this game as an opportunity to prove Corberan wrong and to prove that they should be starting every game. But as a prediction, however, I don't think we'll see that. I mean, it's going to be a 0-0 draw, I won't lie. I just see this game being a bit scrappy. I think both teams being a bit slack in front of goal quite recently. So I'm going to go for a 0-0 draw, sadly. Let me know what you think of that in the comments down below. Next game to predict is, of course, going to be Sunderland versus Birmingham. So, Sunderland, as I said, picked up an away win against Cardiff recently. And Sunderland, we can't write them off. They just still seem to find a way to enter themselves into the top six conversation. They're 10th place on 58 points, only 4 points behind Blackburn. It is not impossible for Sunderland to get into that position. Albeit, I don't think they can lose any more games. And I think dropping points will be a really big blow for Sunderland at this stage if they're going for that. Birmingham, I would dare say they are, I think, the start of the teams you could be looking at upwards and you would classify them as safe. I think Birmingham have already done enough getting that point as well against Stoke and being able to defend the way that they did. I just think they've got enough there to at least survive, and hopefully for them to look into the future. There has been a couple of developments going around with the Birmingham ownership quite recently, and hopefully we could see some optimism and maybe some forward-thinking development for Birmingham going forward. As a prediction here, it's going to be tricky. I can't back them, so I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I think both teams are capable of beating each other, but I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw and be cowardly. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game is Swansea Huddersfield. So, Swansea have done so well with their form. I really got to say. They've really turned it around. 3 wins in 4, 14th place in the table with 53 points. They really weren't looking as comfortable as this a couple of game weeks ago there. Huddersfield also bloody impressed with as well, because Neil Warnock has managed to form a 5-game unbeaten run with Neil Warnock there, with 3 wins out of 5. Absolutely incredible. And they managed to draw against playoff chasing Blackburn Rovers as well, and were 2-0 up. They'll be a bit disappointed from the manner of that, how they conceded the last 2 goals. But having said that, Huddersfield were given by far the most cruel and tough run into the end of the season, and people wrote them off saying, oh, they're down with those running of games. But Neil Warnock has found a way to really give Huddersfield a kick up the backside and has now projected them 2 points above the relegation zone. They're not safe yet, they cannot be complacent about it, and they've got to really treat this game seriously here. As a prediction, I think both teams in form, I'm going to cancel each other out. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw, I think. I think with both of these teams in form, I think 1-1 seems the fairest result that I can think of at the moment. Let me know what you think of that in the comments down below. Next game to predict is Watford versus Bristol City. Two teams not really in a strong run of form, but especially Watford. And Watford, absolutely crazy what's been going on with Watford right now. There are rumours that Chris Wilder was sacked, but those rumours turned out not to be true, and he's definitely at least staying on till the end of the season. Watford, I definitely think they've got to really think carefully if they're going to appoint someone else to take over rather than next season. That's something worth thinking about, but for only 5 games left, I mean, what's even a bloody point if they sack Wilder at this point? Bristol City picked up a good draw against Middlesbrough. They would only feel disappointed that they gave away a 2-goal lead, but Middlesbrough really did start to turn it on when Bristol City made it 2-0. And I've got to say, they really had some good spells in play, Bristol City, actually. A really underrated team, I dare say. Going into this game, Bristol City not having much to play for, obviously, with the latter Watford. I mean, I think they're out of the conversation. The top 6 have really got to be honest. Small outsider, but they've got to win all their remaining games. And right now, I don't really see them having too much chance of it. But what I think we could see, I have a feeling that Watford will respond with the speculation that's been going around. And I think against the Bristol City side with not much to play for, that could be a danger for them as well. Nigel Pearson going against his former club, maybe he could try and aggravate his team to get something here, but something tells me Watford could win eventually. And I think they will. They picked up one great result under Wilder, which was our 3-0 win over Birmingham. They've got to have more than that. I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory to Watford, but quite reluctantly because they just can't seem to win games at the moment. But I'll edge Watford for a 2-1. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Now, the late game on the Saturday is an interesting one. We have got Blackburn going up against Hull City. This is a huge game for Blackburn. If they do not win this game, I think they're in trouble for staying in within the top 6. I think one of the best teams you could play are teams that are already safe from the drop and they've not got anything to play for. Step forward, Hull City. Although, having said that, Hull picked up a brilliant result against Millwall and actually did very, very well, limiting Millwall to their chances. I think potentially we could see a bit of a cracker of a game, but realistically, I don't think we'll see many goals within it. Blackburn did play quite well in that second half against Huddersfield Town, a team that were in really, really big form. So I think Blackburn have got something within them. And Joel Thomason, if he gets it right, he'll get a win here with his Blackburn team based on the squad that he's got. As a prediction, I'm going to go for a 1-0 victory to Blackburn. They picked up a couple of narrow home wins all season, and something tells me this is now or never. If they want top 6, they really need 3 points here, and I don't think they'll find a better opportunity to do it. No disrespect to Hull, I do think they are a really, really nice side, but I think now that they're completely safe from the drop, we could see a Hull City side, just only give it within 50%. I feel like they are ticking everything that they needed to do now, and they'll be thinking towards next season. So watch, Hull City will beat Blackburn by like 3-0 now that I said that. But I'm going to go for 1-0 Blackburn and see what happens with that. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. So guys, that is my predictions done for the Premier League and Championship as well. To repeat, if you want to enter the prediction leagues, all you're going to do is comment your score predictions in the comments, completely free to do. And feel free to share your opinions in the comments as well. Let me know of your current thoughts within the football right now, because there's been a lot of news going around with football quite recently. If you guys like what you see, please smash the like button. It really does help the growth of this channel. Please do hit that subscribe button too, because all these things really do help me. And please share the channel too. All these things are terrifically appreciated. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are legendary if you're still in this video. And as always, see you guys soon. Take care, everyone.